And welcome, everybody. We've got best of 7. We've got the Lord DauT in the blue. And he's playing as the Malay. He'll be up against Hearttt here, down here in the south, who's playing as the Magyars. This is the final day of round of 16 matchups, so it's just 2 sets for those watching later on YouTube. As always, thank you in advance. Thank you for the support you've given the channels already. And also, please give some love to Mem as well, the host of the event, who's put up some good work to make this happen. So we have seen a bit of infantry play in every single series, but if anything, it has been trending against that a little bit. I still think we'll see it from certain players, like Winchester, for example. DauT's getting trolled by this gazelle. But DauT, guys, DauT is going to go crazy with the infantry here, I think, because he has Bulgarians, he's got Romans. I'm missing 1 or 2 in my mind as well. There's definitely 1 or 2 other civs where I'm thinking DauT is going to try and go for man-at-arms. And I think it's a good move. Celts was the other one. I think it's a good move because Hearttt is my favorite for this series because he's so good with the meta play. Like, he's super clean. It's definitely that style of play where if you don't do some damage to him early, he's probably going to transition and beat you. I think the majority of these games are going to be, if it's a DauT victory, it's going to be chaotic masterpiece where he's maybe ending it in Castle Age. And then if Hearttt wins, maybe the same, where he's got a lead in late Castle Age. I'm wondering, let's maybe go for a guess of some kind. How many games will DauT sell his stone in the feudal age here? Right? Sell the stone, buy a little bit of food to rush up to Castle Age. How many? Just thinking about it. It might be every single one. I don't know. But yeah, I like the map. I think it's a good map here for Hearttt. What you want protected is you want your wood. You want your berries on the back. You don't really care about any of your golds right now. So this is a really good map to start. And for DauT, map is pretty decent as well. But I mean, I could see some awkward times trying to get this walled up against the Magyar scouts. My prediction here is Hearttt 4-1. I'd love for DauT to prove me wrong. DauT lost 2 games against Vivi in a best of 5. Came back and won 3-2. I haven't spoken to him, but apparently he's sick or was sick then. So hopefully he's feeling better now, but that reverse sweep was pretty impressive there. I think the first game is always a little bit of a struggle for him. I think if he loses a set, sometimes it just relates to he loses the first game and then he struggles to get going. He's been pretty outspoken over the years. He's always just like, he couldn't sleep, or, you know, there's just always something. Very rarely do you see Hearttt after he wins or loses a series. You hear him talk about it and he's just like, yeah, everything was perfect. So I think if that's the way your mind works a little bit and maybe you're second guessing, like, am I feeling 100%? And then you lose the first game, I think that can snowball on you a little bit. So with that in mind, I'd like to see DauT have a strong opening here. Both scouts are just moving out to find the other right now. But I would expect DauT to build the barracks. Feels like this is going to be a barracks after this house villager. Feel like he'll want man-at-arms almost every single game. Hearttt should expect this as well after seeing the draft and just understanding the differences between the players. And Heartt's on the way up, planning around scouts. Hearttt actually misses the barracks there. Now, it is kind of awkward with the Malay to manage man-at-arms because you advance the feudal age so quickly. So, personally, I'd like to see DauT add an extra vill here and go like 23 vills. But there were a lot of deer, so both players were able to push in quite a bit of food. And DauT, he has the barracks there. Hearttt just attacking the palisade wall. Just to test DauT, just to annoy DauT. Remind DauT that he's going to be annoying to him with these armies. Something I really like personally is doing those little attacks. Depends on the player, though. You know what's happened, guys? Is people start doing that crap to me. Like people who would never attack my houses and my mills and just give me that attack notification that I've been doing it to years. Now they're doing it to me, and I'm realizing how annoying it is. So I've really started something. And DauT needs to get the walls up here. Hearttt knows exactly what's coming in. Will he consider archers here? I would say no. Sometimes you see it, you track it the whole way in, and you want to just stop it in its tracks and go for archers. I don't like that with the Magyars. I think you got to lean towards your strengths. The goal here is to engage against these militia before they're man-at-arms. DauT might want to wait. He's adding the 4th militia now. He actually cancels that, and we'll go for a spearman. See, that's fine. Go for the spearman, plan around man-at-arms. But Heartt's base is absolutely insane against this. It's so good. To not have any of your wood or berries on the front is so nice. Heartt's actually added 2 spearmen as well. So I guess he's thinking with forging that he can use the attack from the spearmen with a couple scouts to engage on this. You see what I mean, guys? DauT had to opt for the eco upgrades. He still doesn't have the man-at-arms upgrade. And this is exactly what Heartt wants. DauT runs right into Heartt's units here. These units are super weak now. Heartt gets some really good micro there, too. The scouts don't get hit at all. And that is the difference between the players already. It's hard to execute these builds with the Malay. They're usually not a very good man-at-arms sib because of the timings with the eco. And so Heartt hasn't even had to full wall, hasn't had to be too panicked. He will wall up a little bit right now. But calm start from him. Archer range is up to add in some skirms. And his scouts are going to move forward now as well. Guys, I cannot get over the fact that yesterday in that ACCM MBL series, we made so much of the fact that ACCM didn't pick Chinese. Because it was his #1 pick, right? He didn't pick Chinese at all. And we were like, well, it must have been intentional. I was just thinking of like the logic of it and the confidence to not play Chinese. He thought the score was 3-2. He thought that there was going to be a game 7. He was trying to save Chinese for game 7. I can't get over that. That's crazy. Imagine if he lost that game. And then he's like, all right, good. We get to go to game 7 and I have Chinese. And he's like, oh, no, actually, ACCM, the series is over. You lost. Like, thankfully for him, it worked out, but that's crazy. The Spearmen were, in the end, a pretty nice addition here from Heartt. He didn't make an excessive amount. ACCM said to me that he didn't get good sleep because his son was up crying in the middle of the night. So any dads out there, you guys probably can relate. ACCM, that was his, I guess he felt he was playing tired the whole day. And I guess that's how he lost track of games. I mean, it was a 4-hour set, so it's probably easy to lose track of one there. Build Disorder says that's why I lose games also. Yeah, I don't really have that excuse, but my cats can really... My cat does howl a little bit at night. So I think that must be it. He's a really needy cat, and if you don't play with him enough, he goes, whoa, at like midnight. And I have a tough time sleeping, so it's definitely a little bit distracting. That's the same, right? Having a needy cat is the same as having a child? It's pretty much the same, right? It just... One's slightly more expensive, and one poops slightly more than the other. It's the same. Joking. All right, that's humor. Haha, funny. Skirmishers from Heartt here. This is not where DauT would have wanted himself to be exactly. But he's going for the right way to try and push this back with his Civ bonuses. He's got double range archery production now. So this will be skirms and this will be archers. DauT's going to play pure numbers here. I would not mind seeing Heartt get the armor upgrade for his scouts. And Heartt is just going to fight this. Heartt will not wait at all. He just goes for the engagement. And why not? He has the attack. There's not a lot of archers in that group for DauT. And just, you could tell the difference already here, man. Heartt wants to play this open aggressive style. His micro is superior. DauT, it's going to be the strategy. It was going to be the man-at-arms timing. Now it's going to be the double range approach. But yeah, Heartt, good start here. He still doesn't have fletching for his skirmishers, so I thought he would get at least one blacksmith upgrade. He's walling at home. He would need the blacksmith maybe on the front here still. And he is adding a couple more scouts here. So I think he realizes how good of a situation he has. DauT's whole wood line is here. All right, so I didn't actually guess the number myself on how many games DauT will sell a stone. I think this is market territory soon for DauT, because he'll feel like he needs to hit Castle Age quickly, but all of his archers are getting picked off. This is really bad for him. I'm going to go with... 4 games. 4 games in this series. Now, that's tough because you don't know how many games are actually going to be played. This game right here is kind of trending in the direction that he won't ever get to a market because he's just getting stomped right now. And this was all before Hearttt had fletching. Now Hearttt has the hill and Hearttt has fletching. And DauT just losing units slowly but surely on the other side. I mean, this is amazing play. If the scouts get through, it's over. DauT does have a lot of spears in that barracks, a surprising amount. So maybe Hearttt won't expect that. So if the house goes down, maybe there's a chance. House does go down. And some scouts go down to those spears as well. The Heartt's going to go into this engagement, though. And Hearttt will kill off the spears. And even that extra armor is not enough. And DauT just gets pushed right back down that hill. I mean, Hearttt, I think he's had cleaner micro. But he feels like with his scouts being cheap, this is completely fine for him. And he's trading off against a lot of skirmishers here. His eco is completely fine and efficient back at home. DauT's eco, not so much right now. Now, Hearttt will run away. Hearttt maybe just needs to make a couple more skirmishers here, I'd say. But just double check Heartt's economy. It's not a given that this is going to be perfectly balanced. He's got 21 farms now. He never got horse collar, and this is a pretty long feudal age, so what will end up happening here is the farms are going to start to expire. It's not a big deal. He would have never had his opening if he didn't have horse collar, but it's something to consider at some point here if you're Hearttt. And yeah, he still hasn't killed a Vil. Okay, there's DauT's market. I mean, DauT wants to play the Castle Age timing. He's struggling for map control. Okay, he sells the stone. So this is 1 game. 1 out of 1. DauT will use the market. I remember DauT was really disappointed when they nerfed the market. He used to do it... Well, he does it as frequently now, but he just doesn't benefit quite to the same level. And maybe he's got a chance here. I mean, his economic advantage is still there, even though it's been awkward. He only lost 1 Vil. It's still a pretty tough army for Hearttt to engage into right now. And power of Malay with the fast Castle Age could be that he is over at Heartt's base faster than Hearttt is ready for him. Hearttt clicks up first. Heartt's had a kind of a perfect game. If you're not going to kill many villagers, it's still a really nice game. And now DauT is on the way up. So I have no clue what DauT's main comp is going to be here. He's going to have 7 spears, 7 skirms, and then 4 archers. So it kind of feels like he's going to play crossbowmen. But he's a minute away from Castle Age. It's still 2 minutes for Hearttt. The Hearttt scouts. Oh, they get through. There was an overchop. And Hearttt was just sitting right beyond here, guys. I'll go back and show you later. I know he was sitting there. He saw the tree was low, and he waited for DauT to overchop that. And finally, Hearttt gets some damage there. 4 villager kills now. He could still get more. This should be 5. Well, if he stayed there, I think he gets 5 and 6, but he didn't want to lose the scouts. He's going back now. He's hoping for more. This will be tough work. He might just run out of here now. Oh, but DauT is losing. Oh, DauT is losing all his spears on the front. It's just the micro difference. DauT was focusing here, and now his whole forward spearman army gets sniped, and now these scouts can get a couple extra hits. DauT was really distracted there. And this of course, is fine for Hearttt because Hearttt just needed a little bit of space and time. And DauT will make more units to compensate for the fact that his micro is just not quite as clean as Heartt's. So he's lost Vils now, and he's losing army. Hearttt is in the Castle Age. Hearttt will go for Elite Skirm and Bodkin. The main thing right now is that Hearttt does miss this army. So he does not see this army. If this scout ends up finding it, though, he can just come home. Honestly, I don't think it's a big enough army to really threaten Hearttt that much. Hearttt might not need to come back. Because you have guaranteed damage if you sit DauT's Woodline right now. And as long as Hearttt just makes some skirms inside the range and relaxes for a minute, he's pretty well defended from this. and he can eventually deal with 6 crossbowmen. This is looking bad for DauT. Again, there was an overchop, but I mean, even without that, he wouldn't really have an active wood line. He will drop a stable back here. I think we'll see even more villagers shifted over to the golds. And Hearttt he's done the right thing here. He can delay from just a couple farms. He's got some knights coming through. Knights with the extra attack with the Magyars. DauT is distracted. Hearttt actually makes a slight mistake there with the micro. And somehow he loses that knight. I thought he would have saved that knight. But he ends up killing it off. He can heal up that knight with some monks. His skirmishers are still around. And now DauT will need something against the skirms, and it's going to be elephants. I agree with the statement in chat that DauT's map is worse. I agree. Heartt's map is way better. 100%. No doubt about it. But, you know, the Malay do have timing advantage. Malay could be argued to be better here as a civilization as well. And I think DauT has just not been able to make use of that bonus. The early infantry didn't pay off. The early Castle Age army didn't really pay off. So, Hearttt you could argue has used this map and that the map plays a role, but it's been far from everything here. And now, DauT is still trying to build up. It feels like he's still got some chances here. Elephants are on the front. The problem with the elephants, of course, is that they're going to be rather slow. And once a monk shows up, they'll need to back away. But they are cheap with the Malay. DauT's on the second town center here. His eco's looking pretty good now that he's back on a wood line. Still haven't seen too many skirmishers go down to these elephants yet. Looks like about 2 have died, and now DauT will need to back away the second he sees a monk. So good micro there from Hearttt. And now he can show no fear, and now he can just chase this back again. DauT tries to send the weak elephant in as a distraction, but Hearttt just such confidence moving forward here. These elephants are not a worry for him at all. He's also adding cav archers behind this. So Heartt's going to trade his skirmishers away. He starts the conversion. DauT wants to go in to take that monk. But oh, now there's knights. Now DauT will click the monk, but Hearttt just clicks away. Heartt's army is too strong, and Heartt's micro is just too good with it right now. It's the same theme. DauT makes an army. The army isn't enough. He then needs to make an even bigger army. That army's not enough. It's just this continuous cycle. The whole game is snowballing on him now. I think Hearttt is making all the right decisions behind this. I think he'll start to snag some relics. So he's already got 1 relic coming in. I'm sure he'll get at least 2. We're soon getting to the point where Hearttt could consider a 3rd TC. But I think the army is always key in the matchup. So staying on 2 town centers I'm completely fine with. You only lose this game if you let the Malay boom. And if you start to boom yourself, maybe the Malay can hold. I mean, you win this hill, you win the game at this point if you're Hearttt, especially if you see DauT send all the villagers there for stone. So that's probably his plan. Is DauT's army going to be big enough? Is it going to be good enough right now? DauT is just barely holding on here. He's going to add the Siege Workshop, which feels like a really important addition. Here's the 3rd TC. So, and that will also be on stone for Hearttt. Lovely eco behind for him. I like the balancing. Woodline needs to be repositioned. But that's something he'll realize soon. Oh, he doesn't know about this woodline. Ooh. Okay, well then these villagers, I guess they'll go over here. Villager count's the same. Hearttt has played amazing considering how tricky the Malay can be to stop. And DauT will move forward here. I don't think Hearttt was ever expecting that. If DauT can find the monks, this could be the start of something good for him. He takes 1. He takes 2. He takes 3 monks. Damn, that was 3 free kills. That's amazing. I think that for Hearttt, he maybe was sitting on the wrong... He was sitting on this hill because he thought DauT would be here. But DauT actually came through from this angle. Still, though, is DauT's army enough to actually take a good engagement? It's still only 2 elephants. What this does do, though, is this pulls Hearttt away from where this hill is, which means DauT is still banking up the stone to build a castle. I just don't know if there's going to be any long-term success here with this army for DauT, but he gets 2 kills. He's gotten some value. The skirms have full armor now, so it gets trickier. And there's cav archers and the knights. I mean, DauT's going to lose this army. But he'll trade against the cav archers. Honestly, I think this whole engagement was worth it for DauT. It was worth the trip. Might not have been worth the trip had he not killed the monks, but he did. More archer ranges for DauT for more crossbowmen. And he has enough stone for a castle. I think he should just drop it at the top of the hill here. No forward castles here, DauT. There's no way you can justify it. It's DauT, so I'm worried that he will think about going forward. I mean, he knows he's behind, right? So that's when a forward castle would normally happen, when you're behind. Oh my god. Oh my freaking god. Oh my god, DauT. Where are we going? Oh, it's not a DauT castle yet. He didn't place the foundation. As DauT always says, he places castles to end games one way or another. That doesn't always mean he's gonna win. Bro. I mean, what more do you have to see to think that maybe this is a bad idea? Okay, it's a big shot. He gets the repairs in on the mangonels too. He kills all the knights. That might give him confidence. There's the castle. Oh my god. Oh my god. There's the castle. He's gonna start it with 1 vill. Okay, he hasn't started it yet because the villager died. Hearttt doesn't have siege. Hearttt doesn't have a market to buy the stone for his own castle to get this up at the same time. Is this gonna actually go up? There's a chance this actually completes. Dude, this is the DauTest of castles. Only DauT ever places this castle. You've got to be kidding me. He walks past the siege workshop. He's thinking he has his own siege so that, you know, he can cancel out the opponent's siege. But DauT knows he's behind, so he sends everything he can to try and get a forward castle to end the game. And he's not going to have the villagers for much longer. He's got 3 villagers here. Heartt's microing, and GG. Hearttt takes the first game. That is the most DauT start that you could see, both in the funny ways, like the DauT castle, but also in the other aspects of the game flow. This is exactly how I expect a lot of these games to go. A DauT will know that Hearttt is just a better meta player, and he'll try and use timings with Man-at-Arms. He's going to hope for more open maps. Heartt's map was insane. The fact that Hearttt could easily full wall, the fact that he could have back gold, back stone, even the safe back woodline, which you didn't know about, is definitely overpowered. But yeah, I mean, expect a lot more of the same. It's funny. We laugh at this and we're like, DauT, why? But he had a good read on the situation because he was dead if he places a defensive castle. You might be like, how T90? He's still Malay. Well, he's like 30 vills behind. Or maybe let's say he'd be 20 vills behind, right? He doesn't have any relics. He doesn't have any long-term map control. So DauT looked at it and said, the only way I have a chance of coming back is if I get a forward castle and get a lot of pressure down. But yeah, that was just too little too late. He needed the aggression to come in faster earlier. A lot of that was feudal age. And then early castle age there from Hearttt, just clearing up all that army. Nice macro from Hearttt. Like I said, I think Hearttt will gain some confidence from that. I think sometimes he can be a little bit shaky if he drops the first game. DauT, on the other hand, I feel like DauT's pretty adaptable. If he drops the first game, he's like, whatever. He's still got some more plans and some more tricks up my sleeve. Again, DauT wants really open maps here, guys. He's gone for Bulgarians game 2, a civ that is rarely picked at a high level. Another thing DauT wants is he wants groups of 3 deer, which he's not going to get. He's just going to get 1 deer here. Hopefully he can find this one. Hopefully you can find this one. You can still eventually get to 3. You need the food income to get the Man-at-Arms builds right. On the other side, again, I think Hearttt will expect this. Heartt's map isn't nearly as strong. The berries being on the front, The gold being on the front with all those hills will make this defense a little bit difficult. Even the wood lines are a little awkward for him. So I think Hearttt is just going to open Feudal Age, try and play skirms and archers to defend. I don't think it's a bad play, but I've struggled at times in this matchup because Bulgarians can hit and do a lot with that timings on the attacks. T90 is Nilly going to be doing the pathing for your wedding, because if so, that could make the that could make walking down the aisle difficult. No, don't worry. There will be no Nilly, and any Age of Empires 2 devs will not be in charge of the pathing for my wedding. I thought about that, but I didn't want anyone veering off course, you know? You know, I'd tell myself to walk down the aisle and I'd be walking the other direction, you know, and then there'd be some drama. So we didn't want that. There will be no Age of Empires 2 pathing. Good thought, though. Thanks for looking out for me. Appreciate it. Deer still just being pushed in here. Hearttt already starting to think about how he can position his houses and walls. But the berries are a problem, dude. Like, imagine if DauT goes forward. If DauT were to know about this right now, I think he would actually go man-at-arm tower. Or man-at-arm forward archery range. This hill's going to be key. But I like DauT's setup if he wants to play more passive as well. But I just don't expect it. T90, will you say it depends if they ask you to take her as your wife? Well, that depends on how they ask the question, you know? It's all about the wording. Obviously, I'm not going to say it depends. No. Obviously, I'm not going to say it depends. I will say yes. I hope. It might be instinct, though. Oh, God. Oh, no, dude. It's like the, you know, in Friends where Ross accidentally said Rachel. That's like a slightly worse version of that, where I make an Age of Empires reference or I say it depends. Like, it doesn't mean anything. I guess it's not nearly as bad as the Friends scenario, but... Whoops. No, I'm not having a monk perform our wedding. I'm not going to have anyone say Wololo. All right? All great ideas, though, chat. But, like, I do have this sick curiosity on what would happen if I were to stream the wedding. Right? Like, I wouldn't be able to actively watch Twitch chat, of course. But I would, almost immediately after, have to watch the VOD to see what Twitch chat would have said. Because I know you guys would be making a bunch of funny jokes. But, yeah, that's not part of the plans right now, so. So, DauT's got his barracks up, no surprise. Oftentimes, you might have players try and hide an opening, hide an approach, but I think being that it's Arabia, the meta is pretty well established on what's possible with these civs. I think DauT made his game plan very clear just from his civ draft. Okay, DauT sees the hill. What he doesn't see is that there's 2 militia coming forward from Hearttt. Hearttt is hoping to catch the militia from DauT before DauT gets man-at-arms, but the man-at-arm upgrade is instant, so that's kind of a tricky task. How many subs would it take for you to stream the wedding? How many subs are you guys talking? Are we seriously about to talk a sub goal right now? Honestly, I could possibly be swayed. But I think it'd be a ridiculous sub goal because I really don't think a high percentage of people care about watching the wedding. I think you guys care about the fact I don't want to stream the wedding and you want to win. I think it's better to set sub goals for content and for, you know, for age-related things. Militia are here. DauT didn't know about it. Heartt's in feudal. This is the frush we talked about yesterday. The little French drush. DauT with the quick wall. So far, saves that villager. Can he save this villager? Heartt's on the prowl for kills. Meanwhile, he's walled up, guys. And the militia... Oh, my God. The militia actually gets the villager kill. Hearttt does lose the scout. But on this side, Hearttt hasn't lost a villager. So Hearttt has invested a little bit less. He defends from the attack. He kills a villager. And DauT is going to snag Arson, though. So with the hill and with man-at-arms, they could be through these palisades pretty quickly. Still not an easy situation for Hearttt by any means. He doesn't really have a strong army yet. And he's just now dropping the archer range. DauT's economy, though. He does not have double bid X. And DauT will loop around the outside. He's really desperate for damage. Will be rather tough for him, and he'll lose his scout to the spearman there from Hearttt. I think if you were to have asked Hearttt, if you were to describe exact scenario that is transcribed here, or that is transpired, I think that he would say yes. I'm all for that. It's not going to be easy, but that's exactly what you want. You defend from the man-at-arms. You're on range units. You even kill the villager. And DauT will have plenty of time to wall up if that's his plan at home and to focus on his economy, but was super strong there from Hearttt. And I just don't think DauT expected it. There's no bonuses at play for the Byzantines to go for the 2 militia. They're more about the cheaper spears and skirms, but it was a nice build there from Hearttt. Other question, T90, do we get to see some pictures of your wedding? I mean, yeah, I'll probably post some photos. I have no issues with that. It's just like the whole streaming it thing. I would really like to be present on the day and just focusing on the moment versus wondering about a stream and all that. So obviously, I talk about a lot about my life and I share a lot with you guys, and that's nice. But I think there's got to be a little bit of a balance there. I think, and it's weird, right? Because, like, I could probably, because people are so interested, it seems like at least people have said they'd gift subs or something for it to be streamed. So, like, there's money in it, but, like, dude, I think when I look back on my wedding, I want to be thinking about my wedding, not did Mr. Poop Butt 69 gift 10 subs, you know? Like, oh, remember that funny message from chat? I don't want that to be on my mind when I think about it long term. So, I'd like to be clear, though. I'm the one that's mainly against streaming it. She is actually super for it. She was like, we could set a sub amount and they could be for people to be invited from Twitch chat. She's like, sure. It wasn't a low amount, but she was like, we got a wedding to pay for. So sure, like a certain amount of gifted subs, we could just invite them. We could sit them with your family. I'm like, no, they're going to be sat with your family. She's like, no, they're going to be sat with your family. So we haven't decided on that yet, but I don't think that's actually going to be a public thing. So ranged unit v ranged unit. DauT still has the potential to play the Castle Age timing. And so again, I would expect DauT to build a market and sell his stone. It's the exact conversation we had in the previous game. Look at his wood count right now. There's no way DauT doesn't build a market here. He's going to build it. But maybe just not yet. It's not like if he builds it now, it allows him to go to Castle Age right away. So, how many subs? Oh, it was a lot. I think it was like I forget. I don't know. Like 2,000 subs or something. But or maybe 10K. Yeah, maybe it was 10K. I don't know. It was a lot. Nice damage here from Hearttt. Michigan Man says that's chump change. Yeah, easy money, man. Easy money. A stable now from DauT. Okay, so this is certainly an approach. So normally the stable switch to add in scouts, it works really well when the map is open and you could actually deny resources. If the opponent is walled, then the scout addition doesn't give you as much value. So I'd be curious to see if Hearttt senses or even sees this, because the second he sees this, it completely changes the game if his gold is exposed. But if he walls this, it's a different situation. He really needs to see this, and he does see it now. So Hearttt could mix in a spear, and Hearttt should probably wall up. And you already have the walls coming this way. Hearttt could wall along the front now. I think he can slowly fall back and just play passively behind walls now. There's the market, guys. Even more so, DauT's going to feel like he needs it because he's spending food on the scout. But it is just one scout, which I think is a good thing for DauT. If he added more than this would be awkward. I think but then again, one scout doesn't actually give you the value to really accomplish much. So then there is the question of, was it worth it? T90, how much for you to play Choppa in your song list? Oh, dude, I'm totally sneaking a Easter egg song into the playlist. Maybe not an AoE 2 one. But if I'm drinking after the wedding and like someone brings it up and I can somehow get a hold of the playlist, you better believe there's gonna be some, like the AoE 2 remix one that I play during the intros. Oh, that'd be so good. Because we always joke like, oh man, I'm gonna put this on in the club. You know, no one actually has a club that could do that. At the wedding is my best chance. So DauT sells the stone again, so that's 2 for 2. Every game so far, DauT has sold the stone. Hoping to push the timings in Castle Age, which the Bulgarians still have the potential for. Resources collected is very similar. Upgrades are going to end up being pretty similar on the units. But the numbers will be, well, it should be pretty close. But I would say it's going to be slightly better for Hearttt. He's got his own stable here. The scout is weak for DauT. And now Hearttt just takes a better engagement to push DauT back with skirms. The thing is here, the normal follow-up you would want to go for in DauT's scenario is go knights. But then the Byzantines have cheap camels. So this is just a matchup where if the Byzantines can just survive the early stages, it's kind of like any matchup they play, they can be fine. So longswords should actually be the #1 unit to try now, I think. There's not a lot of archers. You get the longsword upgrade for free, but DauT's already committed to 2 stables. If you went for 2 barracks, this would have been interesting. But then Hearttt could always go knights. And Hearttt could always add monks. You can just tell the confidence and the difference between the two of them. Hearttt had no eco bonuses to work with here. He will add some camels because he sees the stables. He knows DauT will add knights. He sees DauT's in castle, so he'll back up now. It really bothers me that DauT has that Hearttt has a hole here and not a gate. He is on stone, so he actually went to stone because he was thinking that DauT would go for longsword, so he wanted to go cataphracts. But yeah, DauT, weirdly enough, just didn't really commit to longswords. I'm really wondering, DauT's on stone right now, so we had a DauT castle already. Will there be a DauT Krepost as well? I feel like there's a very good chance that there could be a DauT Krepost because DauT will know he's behind. Maybe, though, we see the second town center from him first. He did boom up in the previous game. Bill count's still even. I feel bad for DauT that so much of what I'm saying here is just viewing the matchup negatively in his favor, but that is kind of how the matchup trends, and that is also what I'm expecting. It's also just with my knowledge on and understanding of the players. I truly believe that Hearttt is a real force, and I think if he wasn't up against, I think the winner here in this series is going to be up against Hera, so they're immediately going to be the underdog, but let's say Hearttt does win this series. If he is against anybody else, if it was like Hearttt versus Viper, I might prefer Hearttt. The Viper's been playing insanely well. And KD's even. DauT's actually ahead in resources collected. He drops the second TC a little bit after Hearttt does. Wow, I just realized the eco upgrades for Hearttt are not very good. Like, they're really bad, actually. He doesn't have Horse Collar. He doesn't have Bowsaw. He is snagging relics, but to miss out on those upgrades is kind of surprising here. He's really had his focus on the micro, maybe. DauT's town center in the back will complete. And camels are not a great raiding unit. Not underneath town centers, anyways. Then again, there is no town center here. And Hearttt will take the engagement against the knights. There is a monk he needs to run away from. Oh, God. Oh, God. Oh, God. Oh, God. 1 camel converted. 2 camels converted. 3 camels converted. At least he'll go for the monks. But yeah, I think Hearttt went in there thinking there was just 1 monk, and then there was a whole lot more than he was expecting. Lego Man says a German streamer streamed his bachelor party on Twitch and made a lot of money. Yeah, again, I mean, you guys have already been so supportive of me over so many years. I sure maybe could make a little bit of money having my wedding be streamed or something. I just want the mental disconnect from it, truthfully. So, not trying to offend chat. I just want to focus on the day. My real name is says we deserve to be there. Okay. We've got 3,000 people here. How are we going to start divvying this up? Are you guys going to make your case? Well, actually, you know, I left more comments on videos. Here comes DauT. He wants a Krepos. He's also brought in the longswords. DauT is not expecting Hearttt to be on stone this whole time to plan for a defensive castle. But DauT's micro. His monks get sniped. That was not good. That was a horrible engagement for DauT, and it was always right on the edge as well. It doesn't feel like he was ever going to win that fight convincingly, even if he got his own conversions. And so now he's crep posting the middle. And there's a castle on the hill for Hearttt, and Hearttt can just... Hearttt can be very happy with how the front of his base is protected now. We've got 3 TCs now for DauT. So he will have to play the late game. Hearttt only has 1 relic. There's a lot of relics over here right now, but it looks like DauT's scout actually killed maybe even 2 monks. I'm not sure. Maybe it killed something else, but it's got 2 kills and it's standing there. It definitely killed 1 monk. A 3rd town center for Hearttt. Might see a couple conics from DauT, but his economy is okay for it, but the main issue as well is it's not really a unit you want to make against camels. I think Bulgarians would have to play like... Oh, there goes another kill for that scout. I think Bulgarians would have to play Halb Siege Ram, maybe? It's really tough to know. Especially once the Byzantines have a castle. Now, that'll be another monk dead, but another conversion there for DauT. He did lose his scout over here, and he's losing his knights as well. But not how he would have planned this game. He would have wanted to have a bigger advantage already. Yeah, Bulgarian cav archers are pretty decent. DauT tries to get the quick wall here. The camels get through. I still think, though, cav archers are a problematic choice. Byzantines have cheaper skirms. On the left side as well, DauT was able to... Or Hearttt was able to convert 3 longswordsmen. Not the most important unit for DauT. But Hearttt gains the villager lead. Hearttt feeling pretty good. Up against a conic over on this side. You can tell DauT's struggling to keep up with this a little. And I think that'll just be another monk down for him. Also here in the stone, underneath the Krepos, he's getting attacked. We'll lose some more villagers there. So that's quickly 9 villagers lost for DauT in this game. And yeah, maybe we see full cataphract for Hearttt. I would be shocked if he does, but it'd be kind of exciting. Loses another camel. I would play hand cannon, and I would play Halb. And just win on going imp as quickly as possible here if I'm Hearttt. Mobility can sometimes be an issue there, but you've already shown camel, so I doubt your opponent's going to play a lot of mobile army. We do have the cav archers now. What's up, James? Thanks for the 5 gifted subs. All right, James gets an invite. See you at the wedding, bro. Thanks, man. Just kidding. Thank you, though, James. Four TC now for Hearttt on the backside of his base in case he gets raided. I feel like a castle here is incoming. Like a castle right on this hill. If you get this hill as well, like maybe you take the left hill, but that feels less significant. Feels like the hill right next to this little cliff. Or whatever that is. What is that? That's not really a cliff. That's like a... It's a rock, but it's a what do you call a rock formation that looks like that? There's a pillar? I guess a pillar would mean that it was man-made though, right? Can you call it a natural pillar? A phallic rock. Yes, I think that's what I was looking for. If he builds a castle there, it's a really good position. Still, just seems impossible for DauT. He is trying cav archers, but he's just late with the timings on this switch. And once Hearttt sees this, he should understand what he needs to tech switch into. He just doesn't know about this yet. Okay, so this is actually, could be a good timing for DauT. But there's camels still. There's some monks still. Heartt's taking his time. DauT doesn't see it. No, DauT does see it. Just feels like there's just enough army from Hearttt to protect that. And that is such a good position to lock down. The whole series, guys, is just... You need to have... It's not what army you make. It's when you make it and when you get value from it. And so far... DauT has just not been able to get the value, and it's not because DauT's underperforming, it's because Hearttt is just... He's just on another level with the early defense, and this matchup in particular, like the previous game DauT was Malay, so he had better advantages with the timings and the economy, but here, 0 eco bonuses for both players, and okay, DauT will try and get some value. He runs in when he sees Imp, but now he's been trapped. There's been some quick walls. The Cav Archers will still dive in. He will still get through. But the Camels will probably just kill all of that. And yeah, the Camels will kill it all. The Trebs will be on the way for DauT. Or sorry, for Hearttt. Camels will kill it all over here as well. And the Trebs are going to be taking down Krepos and TCs pretty soon. This is looking pretty rough for the Lord right now. James says, I was already invited to the bachelor party with my 2 years of subs. Now the wedding, too. Oh, really? Damn. All right, man. We're going to be living it up. Appreciate it, man. Hardy, thank you for the 43 months. He says, I'm kindly declining. I'm busy on that date, and I don't know yet. Yeah, but Hardy, what if I actually invite you, dude? We've kind of been friends forever, and you're my editor. You're declining? Come on, man. All good. Thank you for the 43 months. Zany, thanks for the 31. I think there'll be another castle here from Hearttt. DauT's going to try and continue to mass these Cav Archers, but this just looks so brutal. The Camels can still eat them because it's Castle Age upgrades versus Imp. And DauT's losing his town centers, and it's GG again. Hearttt up 2-0. I mean, I think one of the best ways to just reiterate the difference between these two right now is their openings. So DauT has the free Man-at-Arms upgrade. DauT has more potential to do damage with more army, right? More army investment. He doesn't do that damage because Hearttt defends with some walls. He scouted it, and he quick-walled it off, and he defended from it. Hearttt has no bonuses for this, adds 2 militia and uses his starting scout. And while DauT gets really unlucky, he kills the villager. So Hearttt kills the Vill. DauT doesn't kill the Vill. DauT has more potential to kill the Vill. And that is essentially how these games have played out so far, is Heartt's able to get the better value from the fights. And that's why DauT is leaning towards civs that maybe have bonuses for making more units, or have to hit those timings, because he needs that. And DauT's never going to be able to play a style where he can sit back and chill and use lower amounts of units or weaker units to get more value. It's just not his style. So, Heartt's playing incredible. 2 straight wins for him. DauT, though, is still playing solid. If he can just get through a wall here or there, if he can just finally get an engagement against Heartt's Eco in early feudal, I think these games can look different. All right, so game 3. So far, things have gone perfectly according to Heartt's plans. Obviously, he's won the first 2 games, but I think even here, both these players have picked Khitans first, and Hearttt correctly recognized that DauT was probably going to go for it now, and so he would just match it. So this is both their number 1 picks. It's the only way that you can have a mirror matchup, is if they both do that. And is DauT on 2 different sheep right now? What's going on? That's kind of rare. I would expect scout opening. Maybe we can see lots of spears and skirms. I mean, this civilization can mass all of that faster. The key, of course, for their economy is dropping the pastures. The pasture, I think, in the pasture nerf recently hasn't affected their dominance all that much. It was a slight nerf to slow down getting to those pastures, but the pasture food income still feels like the best food source in the game to me. But yeah, here at least it will be pasture v pasture. So It won't be a clear difference between the two of them. Mighty in chat says, are Magyars that good? Magyars are really nice. I like the Magyars. Magyars lack eco bonuses, but they have strong military attacks. But I like the balance of the Magyars. But I think present day, the game has been power crept really hard. So now we have civs that have great military bonuses and also good eco bonuses. So, you know, Ketons is actually an example of that. DauT, please. Okay, that boar lore is just fine. But yeah, I like the Magyars. Hearttt used it pretty well in game number 1. And a couple houses along the front here for Hearttt. The wall potential is there for both, but I would still expect army to be kind of key here. Thank you, that white guy, for the 44 months. Neri, thank you for the 6 months. Viewers, I think I'm going to run... Let me look real quick. This might be a really fast game. So, guys, ads are going to run in 25 minutes. Should I just run a minute now? Would you prefer I run a minute now, or should we just chance it? Because what that could mean is we have a crazy Castle Age game, and then you guys get ads during it, which I don't want. Just do it now, right? I'll do a minute now. Okay. Cool. Yeah, this is... You guys aren't... They're not going to miss too much. All right. Yeah, so far it's gone as expected. I love DauT. I just think DauT's playstyle is completely countered by Heartt's playstyle. What I'd like to see DauT do is I'd like to see him go for kind of the MBL walls or the egg walls. I'd like to see him wall here, wall towards the TC, wall around the berries here, and just leave the gold exposed. Makes life really easy here. Forge, come on, dude. Forge says, OMG, that drush that's happening right now. Don't do that. Someone's watching an ad for... Well, I don't know what Twitch ads are these days. I don't get to choose. I don't know. Diapers or Skittles or toothbrushes. Either way, don't get them all excited. Don't make them feel like they're missing out. But hey, Alex just subbed, so maybe it worked. Maybe Alex subscribed, so he misses out in the ads. You had a pizza commercial? Oh, dude, I could destroy some pizza. I had pizza for the first time in like a month a couple days ago, and I'm still thinking about it. Whew, so good. So good. Yeah, DauT's going to do exactly what we said. Little walls here. He might build his military buildings in this area. I personally don't like that because I find it's kind of difficult to get your units to the left. But he doesn't know he needs to go to the left because of how the scouting has worked out. He's thinking he needs to go forward. Hearttt will probably do the same. Look, they're both going to scout each other in the middle. The fact that they're so close to the south is going to change how they build up their base. Like, Hearttt might build his barracks over here, for example, instead of building his barracks over here. But yeah, same build orders. DauT's up a little bit faster. I personally like what Hearttt has done here. I think having that extra villa is nice with pastures because it is still 100 wood, but there's really not a major difference between what they're doing here at all. But they're both super blind on where the opponent is. Luckily for them, they could probably assume it's not going to be any man-at-arm build here. And DauT will be found on the backside there near the berries. DauT's still looking for Hearttt and is very confused. He might get a little paranoid if he sees Hearttt scouts around, but again, not a matchup where he needs to worry all that much. Stable will go up for DauT. Stable will be going up for Hearttt. So you see how Hearttt shifted his stable over here after finding out that DauT is over here? That's kind of what I meant. Heartt's got the better map if he can get the full walls down now. He gets a nice spearman hit. But DauT has the better map if this becomes a full feudal type of game. Maybe we'll see a tower over here for DauT at some stage, but just some small differences. There was a spearman hit on the scout there. DauT tries to wall in Hearttt scout and isn't able to get it down. So far, things have not been able... The tiny little things you want to flow for you, not been able to transpire for DauT. Also, domestication was researched. It's a really tight build to get both these things sometimes. So, okay, DauT's doing it as well, actually. So, no real difference. But they both know they're going to be dropping a lot of pastures, and that will add extra food onto the pastures. Reality Paradox says, I haven't had pizza in 18 months. Diabetes life, FML. Oh, man, that's brutal. I'm sorry, man. I know someone with diabetes. Pizza's overrated, right? Chat, type of 1 if you think pizza's completely overrated. I was just joking, honestly. I was just trying to make things interesting for chat. It's not that great. Yeah. Someone said they're lactose intolerant as well. Yeah, ice cream's also super overrated. So don't worry about it. So I think this is the calm before the storm. Reminder that this Civ does not get bloodlines. So in an extended scout war, the scouts lack tankiness. They both lack bloodlines, so no real major difference. I guess in a fight against spearmen, both players will struggle a little. But the food eco is gonna spike massively at a certain stage. Forging counts for double, so once forging is researched, they will have +2 attack on everything. And Hearttt is kind of gone for the full wall approach so far, but he isn't fully walled yet. And DauT is going to be fully walled, but just without gold. But why not send it here if you're DauT? Double stable, double barracks. Just big numbers. I mean, why not? You're down 2 games. You can't take your gold. I'd love to see that. Maybe what Hearttt will try and do is Hearttt will try and get onto gold and switch into archers, which is a fairly common play with a lot of other civs. And then maybe he'll overextend, and maybe the scouts can snipe that. Need some confidence here, DauT. But here with the same civ, okay, pretty much the same play, Hearttt has 200 more resources collected. And that's just because of the efficiency of his eco and the way he's balanced things. I mean, DauT had 1 second of TC idle time, but that's not going to change the game too much. Just, Hearttt is such a clean player. And he really feels inevitable until he's up against another player or two who's also incredibly clean, also very adaptive too. Like, but on Arabia, Hearttt is definitely one of the best players in the world. And he's looking like he's destined to go into the quarterfinal right now. Still haven't had forging researched. And there's lots of spears around. 7 spears. Both players click forging at the same time. Damn. I would have tried to wall this, and I probably would have lost my bills. Really nice patience from Hearttt. Forging will be in for both here. DauT only has 2 spears, though. There's 7 spears for Hearttt. So I think DauT's thinking these spears are going to be exposed on the front, and that he has opportunities here. But Heartt's got spearmen positioned all around. It would probably be worth it to get the armor, too. DauT takes the fight. I don't know, was that his plan initially to take the fight? It feels like it was. He takes the fight, he loses just 1 scout. Thing is, though, his houses are starting to go down here. So Heartt's going to be through if he's not careful. And oh, God, DauT oh, God, he lost 3 more scouts. Well, he's got to make more. DauT's got 8 pastures. Hearttt is 10 pastures. And that's essentially a 4 villager working on food lead, because there's 2 villagers on each pasture. And DauT will add some spearmen on the other side here, and DauT is worried about this, so he adds a tower. We'll now get armor. Hearttt runs right through, right past that. He's just moving on to the stable now to take this down. Yeah, DauT can't defend this side now, because he's had to tower this wood line. And now Hearttt quickly shifts over. Heartt's very happy with this. Heartt's got spearmen at home needed in defense, but then again, that is a dangerous amount of scouts again for DauT. Hearttt will have to be careful here. DauT will have to be careful as well, and DauT will engage. His spearmen do have armor now. So I think Heartt's being patient. DauT's not being patient. Taking the fight again. I don't know if it'll work, but this is exactly what you want if you're DauT. Constantly taking fights. Big feudal age battle. You don't want this game to adapt towards Castle Age against Hearttt. And his spearman numbers are pretty high there. I guess the numbers are similar. Hearttt is on gold. I think that might just be for the potential of Castle Age, and Hearttt will take the fight here. Hoping... So Spear v Spear, they don't really do a lot of damage against each other. So a lot of the Spearmen for DauT could just be continually attacking. Oh, big fight. Oh, there was an overchop. There was an overchop. DauT is in. DauT is in. Hearttt could take a bad fight here, too. DauT killed 2 villagers there. He does lose this entire army, though. And DauT also had some TC idle time. He also loses some scouts here. But yeah, overchop on the wood line. Now Hearttt could go for the full wall if he wants. And DauT doesn't have the army around. So DauT just behind in the numbers. He still can't move out to take the gold. He will probably just sell wood to get the gold to go to the next stage. Because you can't move out to that gold right now. Look at Hearttt just sitting there waiting. He knows DauT's situation. And he knows his situation actually incorporates golds into the strat. T90, is there a rough estimation on how many resources in form of army you're willing to lose for a villager kill? It fully depends. There's no easy answer to that. But I could tell you when you're the underdog and you haven't had any real advantages, you take that risk if you're DauT. If you're the favorite, you probably don't take that risk. If you're the underdog, you take that every time. So that engagement is something DauT will be happy with. I don't know if DauT's market is going to be up for very long. Heartt's attacking it. Hearttt will bring his spears over. DauT lost more scouts, but he's distracted because that market, you can stack all the scouts on the market. That market's going to go down so quickly, man. Hearttt will be in Castle Age faster. And Hearttt will have access to gold, which DauT does not. I'd expect more of the same. More scouts, more spearmen. DauT will try and defend the market here, and Hearttt will back off. And Hearttt can fight 3 spears, too. So, yeah. See, he knows that DauT can't really fight him easily. DauT's thinking about it, though. I would expect the pike upgrade and the light cav upgrade as just the start. DauT is kind of running out of space for pastures here. There's still some space back here for Hearttt if he wants to do this. Food eco is ridiculous. Normally at this stage, if either player would be able to do this in another Civ matchup, they'd have like 1,200, 1,500 more food than the opponent. But because they're both Ketons, it ends up being fine. That's a good fight. We have a pause here. I almost wonder if maybe there was some lag or something there because it's kind of unlike Hearttt to have been caught out there and stay on that stable for too long. Okay, DauT lagged. And that's what he means by saying spike. Just in case someone doesn't know, that means lag spike, you know? Just in case they thought, like, that was his dog's name or something. Let me just clarify that. Just in case no one knows. DauT's a big volleyball fan. But yeah, DauT's got no easy access to gold. I'm really worried for him, guys. Heartt's in Castle Age faster. Hearttt will kill off 3 spears. And Hearttt will follow this up with Lancers. DauT does have more spearmen, so I guess the pikeman upgrade could help him defend from some of this. But iron casting's on the way, and that's also double. So, I mean, it just feels like Hearttt is playing this like there's no doubt in his mind that he can lose this game. And, yep, takes the fight. Spearmen get eliminated. Lancers come in against the light cav. Light cav will get eliminated. Hearttt didn't get the light cav upgrade himself, but DauT now has to leave. Now he's exposed on the gold. And he'll very quickly need to tap out, I think. There's no other choice. He'll make more army that'll just die to the follow-up from Hearttt. Heartt's just simply playing better today. There's just a difference in styles between these two. And the opposite of what you want with these play styles is a mirror matchup. So Hearttt just correctly guessed that with them both having Ketons, that DauT would do this after he lost the first 2 games. Mirror matchup is awful for the underdog. And so Hearttt takes him off golds. Hearttt, of course, still taking his own golds. Behind this, he'll maybe mix in a monk. And he'll just slowly start to take down the stables. DauT probably feels horrible right now. But, I mean, It's just not a good matchup for him, and Heartt's playing unreal, and I've run out of different ways to say it. DauT will go for a counterattack. Heartt just correctly backed away with his monk. He's waiting. Lancers could make it through the walls pretty quickly here, so DauT could take more damage soon. DauT's still hoping to get a big mass here. But it is 14 Lancers against 5. And these Lancers are going to bop. They're going to bop again. And they're going to bop again. They won't stop there. They're going to bop here too. House is going to go down. Lancers are in. And DauT has his army coming back. And it's not big enough. And DauT will take more losses. And it's a sad thing to have to watch right now for DauT. The Heartt's just not giving him any chance. More army comes back through this way. DauT's still escaping to try and get to the golds. This army's just going to run in as well. It is a complete and utter massacre here. But hold on, guys. Something that is interesting is that this is the one game where DauT didn't sell his stone to go to Castle Age, which was our prediction at the start of the series. He did use the market a lot. But he didn't sell the stone because he had to drop the tower, right? And DauT drops the GG. Yeah, Heartt just stomped him. And it's just so well played from Heartt, right? Because, like, for DauT, this was the correct play. Everything I said here is correct. But what you're hoping for is your opponent's open. Your opponent can take losses on fills. And you can't. You're hoping to get the villager lead, the army lead, and then you just go out and take the gold anyways. But Heartt just made so much army. Heartt was so relaxed, even though his base was open. And he was able to force DauT into a tower, which is maybe the biggest thing that DauT will regret right now. So the starting map is actually better for DauT, but like Heartt played it better to get the walls down. Yeah, it's a little bit harder for DauT to get to this gold still, but like this is actually, you ask anybody, they want to have this safe little food wood eco because they don't need to ever make spears. Heartt had to have spears everywhere. Heartt had to defend all these vills. But yeah, he's just playing so well right now. And I think DauT's going to put one up for the fans now. We might see another DauT castle. But next game's coming up in a minute. DauT probably just wanting to get this over with at this point. Here we got DauT. Hoping to pull off another reverse sweep here, right? He did do so in the previous round. He was down 2 games, and then he won 3 straight. Now, I will add the caveat here that it is a very different style matchup than against Vivi. Like, I think with Vivi has a bit of a tendency of starting to let sets slip away. DauT will always feel like there's a chance in every single game in a variety of different moments. Against Heartt, it's a problem, you know, if he can't get some early damage. Now, I think this is maybe the first time, though, I think DauT's Civ matchup is actually maybe better. On an open map, I like the Khmer. On an open map, I'm not the biggest fan of the Burgundians. So we've seen people try and play the Burgundians and hope for a really wallable map. And this is not one of them. So Burgundians have always been risky. Now, is that risk worth taking if you're Heartt? I would say so because you're up 3 games. DauT is using one of his top picks against you. So if you lose, you're still probably fine. But we're definitely seeing Burgundians way more than I would have ever expected coming into this tournament. T90, I've always thought that motivation and drive come out as constructive criticism. And it might sound like a lack of fun when it's actually emotion and desire to keep going and to get better. Yeah, I see what you mean. But, I mean, it can go different directions, too. I mean, I would agree if someone were to say that my mindset, that I am maybe too hard on myself as a player, I would probably agree with that statement. Which I think is what Shulk was trying to say. I think I sometimes find that players who are overconfident and are like, they make bad decisions, but they just believe those decisions to be the best decisions, like with extreme confidence. I find that those players end up doing pretty well. You know, so yeah, maybe second guessing things constantly can lead to some downsides as well. It's anytime you want to feel better about yourself as a player, T90, I'll play you 1v1. You'll leave feeling great. Well, thank you, bro. Thank you, man. I think the map is also better for DauT. So I think that the type of map that we have here is better for the Khmer. But I think the map generation we have is just straight up better for DauT with this gold being on the back. Just a little bit easier for him to wall between some of these wood lines. This isn't something you see every day. But DauT's built to Dark Age farm, and I kind of like it because he didn't have as many deer to push in. He also was a little late with his boar. You can build it before the mill. You can still build the mill later on. It's probably not ideal, but Khmer are pretty adaptable like that. T90, I'd like to see you play Winchester. I haven't played Winchester in a long time. I don't have too much experience playing him. But, I mean, it's not really a player that I think I would do too well against. But could be some good experience, maybe. Initially, when I saw DauT's farm, I thought it was maybe a fast castle play, but I think he just added it for the extra eco. He will be on the way to feudal age now. But if Hearttt wanted this full wall game, he's not going to have that easily. And I think he wanted full wall. I think he also wanted the Flemish militia. I think he'll bail on that, though. I think instead he'll just play fast feudal-ish into like spears, scouts. Just try and adapt this one. I just hate I hate Burgundians on Arabia. I struggle so much with it. Especially chicken Arabia. There's no chickens here. But I think one of my worst civs is Burgundians on chicken Arabia. Because you can't easily get the double bit axe upgrade and still have a fast feudal age. In this case, there weren't a lot of deer to push. So for Hearttt, it definitely hurt him for similar reasons. Burgundians on arena, I absolutely love. So I wonder if DauT's been talking to Tato a little bit. I imagine that's the case. Tato used to do this. I forget where it was, but Tato would go... or Tato's done this a couple times where he skips the mill altogether. Skips the berries. So he'll still go for scouts, but he's just going to farm without horse collar and not leave the berries exposed here. And there's the scout. T90, has a reverse sweep ever happened in an S tier best of 7 tourney? Reverse sweep, best of 7. I feel like it has. I'm trying to think on this a little bit. I think last King of the Desert, I think Nikov was up 3-0 over Hearttt. I think in that series there was a fast castle involved. I think Hearttt actually won reverse sweep there. So I think that would be the answer. I'm not sure if there's too many other examples of it. I'm sure there's one or two more. But maybe here. Maybe this will be an example of it. The Flemish militia are out for Hearttt. So he actually does that without mining any gold. So he just makes 2 and then a spearman. But he gets over to DauT's base, and DauT is just off the berries. DauT is just going to farm. Shouldn't be able to make that many scouts after the number he's made, but it does leave him in a situation where almost everything is safe and not exposed here. DauT needs to prep a palisade here. You need to always look at your trees and look for overchops. If he were to miss that, that would be really frustrating, and he can't fight the Flemish militia right now. While it is creative, every time I see this, I'm really not a fan of it. DauT's food eco is not anywhere close to where it could be. And DauT, you've overchopped. Okay, he drops the house there. He's fine. I think you could still place the mill, and I think you could still just build a couple palisade walls around those villas and fight to protect them. But DauT's looking for an edge right now. He's looking for anything he can to gain some type of an advantage here. Meanwhile, horse collar is in for Hearttt, but he's super late with the farms. Just takes a while to get going here with the Burgundians. So, Flemish militia, a couple skirms, couple spears from Hearttt. DauT will play archers behind this. Eventually, the farms will rise to make more scouts or to get fletching if he needs to. DauT is defended. It's the same thing as last game where Hearttt has more work to do to defend. These walls for DauT make the now very easy. But long term, obviously, if Hearttt can get a full wall down, Heartt's going to be in a much better position, right? And DauT scouts, though, still looking for the damage. And I think Hearttt is addressed this nicely. He knows his berries are walled up. He just needs to spearman here. And he's going to... Oh, tower is gold. Okay, so he knows this is going to be a potential problem. But he's moving his army out. He wants to harass DauT's woodline right now. How did this villager get out here for DauT? Did it walk through those houses or past the palisade? Is there a hole there? I feel like there could be. Heartt's prepped the palisade to go after one of those berry bushes is eaten. He's still waiting. He's still being patient. DauT goes in. DauT will see that. DauT's villager, okay, house hopped out there. And now DauT has to drop a tower. So it's similar to the previous game. DauT knows he needs his woodline protected. He's trying to ignore this army at all costs. And Hearttt is still kind of chipping away. Normally, once this tower's up, we'll see the gold harass next. Gold is actually not as important, though. And here comes the archers from DauT. The sneak archers around the backside. Hearttt did not account for this. He was not expecting this. And DauT gets fletching at a really good time, but he needs to get the value from the attack. He needs to get the kills. He still hasn't killed a villager. And there's skirmishers here from Hearttt, and Hearttt kills an archer. And again, it is just the difference. It's like DauT can't quite get the kills he needs. Heartt's micro is just so good. And now Hearttt holds. He doesn't lose the vills. And now he's going to harass the gold. And now this is really annoying for DauT. There is just a micro difference between these two. And it's evident again there. DauT will try and claw back this position to take the golds. But that's so frustrating, dude. It's so frustrating as a player. And I feel bad for him because as I cast this scenario with DauT, I relate so hard. I think that's why DauT has a lot of fans. Because there's a lot of people watching out now. Like, chat, on a scale of 1 to 10, how good is your micro? There's going to be a lot of people that are going to be, like, saying, like, -10 or 3 or 4. I think they look at DauT, they're like, this is so cool. This guy's been around forever. He doesn't win games with the micro. He wins games with the strategy, right? But, I just... You got to get those kills. He's still in this game, by the way. He's still in the game. It's not over. But Khmer are twice as easy to play on a map like this, and he still has not quite been able to get the value he wants. It's not the size difference; it's how you use it. T90. Yeah, I've heard that before, somewhere. I'm not sure where, but yeah, it's true though. If you can get more value from lower amounts of units, it could completely change your strat, right? And DauT, especially in the first 2 games, has gone for big army numbers to compensate for not being able to micro quite to the same level. So, we've said a lot. Only 2 kills have happened. DauT's resources are still rising up to go Castle Age. DauT's still fine. In the middle, maybe he's not so fine, though. As he advances forward with this army, he's going to lose some army. He kills a lot of army as well, though. He could probably fall back. DauT is still going to reach Castle Age faster than Hearttt. Hearttt also killed an archer over here, but KD's 5-5. DauT is actually on the berries now, but here's enough farms where he could maybe leave. I'm wondering what DauT's opening is going to be. That'll depend on how many archers he has, really. It feels like knights is going to be the most common play. But as I say it, he's going for the second archer range, so... If he were to lose any archers, he only has 4 right now. It would not be at a very good time for him. And this archer there could get sniped. Here the scouts get pulled into the Flemish militia. There the archers pull back. That's really good for DauT to keep that alive. Hearttt still hasn't clicked up. Hearttt is making a second barracks here. So his plan is to make more Flemish militia probably in Castle Age. Or maybe some spears. But the next minute or 2, guys, is key here for DauT. He has to keep every archer alive. He has to keep every archer alive. Archer dies immediately. DauT, you got to be really careful here, man. It's a dangerous amount of skirms. Now, he wants to be forward. He wants to hit this gold. He doesn't know the gold is towered yet. Makes sense he wants to fight for this position when he still has the scouts as protection on the front. I think what will happen is right when DauT hits Castle Age, if Hearttt is in any way close to him, Hearttt is going to run at the army. This is risky business right now. This is really risky for DauT to be here. Because if he loses this army, he'll be going for crossbow with 4 archers that are behind this. I don't know why DauT is here. Like, he should be... I feel like he should be backing away. And Hearttt gets the upgrades, and Hearttt gets exactly what he wants. Again, reminiscent of game number 1. He gets some archer kills before DauT's about to hit Castle Age, and now DauT wants to hit a crossbowman timing with like 4 or 5 units. And Hearttt could just chase this down. Hearttt now has that extra minute to relax and chill. He is making more Flemish militia. He's getting armor on the Flemish militia as well. Did DauT ever see the tower here? Interesting. So DauT doesn't know the tower's there, so he still thinks this is a really good target. When he sees this, things are going to get a little bit tougher for him to envision damage. Because now, where do you go with the crossbowman? The wood line's on the back. You might assume that Heartt's fully walled when Hearttt is not. Heartt's army's still actively... just active in the middle. And Flemish militia stats get boosted when you make it to Castle Age. We'll see elite skirmisher still for Hearttt. And DauT still hasn't found any villager kills here. And he loses his scouts there, and Hearttt will have an army of skirmishers and Flemish militia. Will we see a siege tower again? We've been seeing a lot of infantry and siege towers. We've seen it with Flemish militia. We've also seen it with fire lancers. Heartt's just going to drop the second TC. But an army of Flemish militia to protect the skirms, and skirms out there to kill the crossbows right now for Hearttt. DauT's still ahead in resources collected. DauT's still 1 TC, but that will probably change. He's on stone. Second town center will probably come soon for him too. Hearttt has had to work really hard here to make this into a game. And DauT's played well. Would he have wanted a little bit more value from his armies? Absolutely. But it's going to be tough against Hearttt. Can DauT run in here? He clearly wants to. There's a lot of Flemish militia around. And DauT is going to run in with the crossbows. Is that... I can't really tell if that's the play or not here. It doesn't seem like it. The knights can't follow now, and he's going to lose every single crossbow. I just feel like DauT needs to back off there. But in his mind, he needs the damage. And he wants to get in. He wants to do something, but... yeah, another ranged army goes down. At least here, though, the Flemish militia are now separated from the skirm, so DauT's got a better chance of taking the fight. So it could have been worse, honestly. It's still pretty even. 2 town centers for DauT. Eco's flying with the Khmer. Good eco upgrades. Still skirmishers and Flemish militia for Hearttt. Still 2 town centers. Feels like we're gonna go imp. But like imp is gonna be kind of difficult. Look how open the map is. I would play full Castle Age if I'm DauT, 100%. It's one of the best things Khmer can do. I think I would try that for Hearttt as well, and I'd add stables and go Cavalier at some point. I think that's the way to do it. Hearttt sees DauT is coming this way. This TC ended up being really important. It protects the back of the base. Wheelbarrow is not really an important upgrade for the Khmer. So, I mean, it's still helpful, but it's not nearly as helpful because you don't need it to for farmers. You don't benefit from it for farmers as much. DauT's going double gold comp and expects a big Castle Age. Going for gold shaft mining now. I like that. I think it's a good play. DauT has not sat back, scared of Heartt's aggression at all. He is really trying to send it here. But Hearttt tracking this very nicely. Hearttt will have ballistics on the skirmishers. He also has the perfect amount of monks back there. He always has the perfect ratio of army to defend. It's so good from Hearttt. And he will drop his third town center up here now. Prefer he shift that a little bit more onto the woodline and the gold, but that's still fine. Myker has to be perfect with these armies for Hearttt. He wants to wall DauT in. Ballistics is in, so he's just running with the skirms after the crossbows. The knights have to run because of the monks and Flemish militia. Flemish militia are pretty cheap, so you could spam a lot of them. Makes the micro difficult for DauT. KD's still even. Hearttt defends from the attack, but DauT is thinking about this area now, and he just isn't checking. He's only checking the golds. Oh, man. That's crazy. Does he see the town center? He needs to see the town center. He'll find the town center. I think Hearttt saw him as well. DauT didn't see it. Now DauT sees it. And Hearttt saw that he was been spotted. And Hearttt drops the quick walls. And that's crazy, dude. That is crazy. I mean, he definitely saw those knights were just passing him there. And he chose not to quick wall. He chose to just keep building. I could tell because he clicked the villagers onto the TC in extra time. There was a little extra movement. DauT's trying to come back, though. Hearttt has lost track of him. And DauT, if he gets through here, Hearttt might be out of position for the first time in a long time. Hearttt thinks this is fully walled, guys. He does not know there's a hole there. Oh, man. Imagine if DauT doesn't get spotted again. Imagine if he gets back to the stone. Hearttt is on the front, expecting DauT to attack here. The knights come in. So good for DauT. So good. Finally gets some reward for all these attacks. Heartt's going to be really confused how that army got through. I'm sure he'll check for that hole. But this is just not the type of game that the Burgundians have had success with in this tournament. It's been the pick Burgundians for the closed maps. You don't want to be reacting with skirms and spears. I think Hearttt needs to try Cavalier or try something to be mobile again. Like, his army is just so slow. He does build the house here, so DauT can't exactly escape. And over here as well, Hearttt gets one conversion. He's tracking this knight. He might get another conversion, and DauT tries to escape. Another conversion incoming for Hearttt. He gets that. Look at that as well. He saves the monk, too. That's crazy. Saves the monk. Hey, he's dealing with this army. It's so impressive. I don't understand how Hearttt is still in this game, considering the matchup and how much army DauT has had. But DauT's still got the big lead. And he's got 4 TCs behind. He's starting to get some relics behind. Gates from Hearttt. New TC from Hearttt. But he traps DauT from escaping. DauT runs right into the Flemish militia. He's trapped. But it's crossbowmen now from DauT. Now for crossbowmen, there's still some skirms here. Heartt's going to choose to go imp. He's down 13 villagers. His plan is to get the tech advantage in imp. He's on the way up. Well, no, he's not, because he has imp in Q, but he will be up. DauT's killed 4 vills. Luckily, behind this, his eco is still flying. If this was like game number 1, my frame of thinking would be very different on this, right? But now that it's game number 4 and Heartt's up 3-0, you just start to think that Heartt's still got the chances. Heartt's going to try Paladin. You can get Cavalier and Castle. Oh, God. Here comes DauT. Okay. Never mind. He's building a safe castle. If DauT were to go here with the crossbows, you could just win the game. But he doesn't trust himself, because every time he moves forward, it's like Hearttt has the position. Hearttt sees the castle. DauT goes this way with the knights. Oh, God. Oh, God. Oh, God. I think it's fine for DauT. That's a big crossbow army. The Flemish militia aren't enough here. You're not denying this one, Hearttt. I don't think so anyways. DauT build a safe castle for once. It works out. I think. Calculated. Oh my God. He almost had it denied. He's now on the way to the Imperial Age. That was worth it. He killed most of the Flemish militia there. But Heartt's getting Cavalier. And Hearttt will drop a castle on the hill, and Hearttt is holding. Hearttt needs to full wall, by the way. The fact that this isn't full wall is crazy to me. That's like 8 pieces of stone wall. DauT should never be getting in with anything. But it might be too late. He wasn't expecting DauT to go that way. Props to DauT for doing so. Now DauT will get another kill. And Heartt's going to need this gold, too. Heartt has to send his whole army over again. Maybe he'll start to get some raids on DauT that DauT won't notice. We haven't seen Heartt in DauT's base for a long time. And with that castle up, Heartt can always make trebs for that castle. I think he's going to aim to click Paladin right away. And DauT has no clue this switch is coming. Like, look, he only has 2 knights. Oh, I guess it's because he converted 2 knights. Okay, so he has 5 Cavalier. So, Cavalier over here. Now DauT will know. DauT will have a tough time keeping an eye on everything and also attacking on the front. Heartt's ready with all the monks. DauT has to run away with the crossbows too. Again, things will get messier for DauT. Another defensive castle for DauT, so he's just doing what he can to stay safe. We'll start to lose some crossbows against these skirms right now. It's crazy that this army can counter this army. But when you have perfect unit control, you can use 10 skirms to counter that army with a couple monks behind. DauT did take some losses here. Now, the painful thing you haven't had to do the whole game with Khmer is have a barracks. So to get to Halb, you're an extra minute removed because you have to add the first barracks, get pikemen. Conversions for Heartt. Conversions for Heartt. He converts a lot of DauT's cav there. DauT will want the... DauT will want to kill the... I somehow always... I wanted to say DauT wanted to add something, and I almost called him Dad again. And then I've done that multiple times. It's really embarrassing. I meant to say DauT needs to add. He will want to add something, right? But anyways, yeah, it's just a little bit harder to get into Halb, but it's probably a good play for him to add that. Paladin. 90 seconds away for Heartt. You want Paladin. You want Gunpowder. That's your best composition here. And DauT's base is wide open for the raids. Still really think that Heartt should stonewall here. Just a little bit of stonewalling so he never needs to. Maybe I guess he wants a castle on this hill instead. He's expecting DauT to bring army to snipe these trebs, but DauT lost all of his cav, so DauT can't exactly do that. And his castle is Bracer. There's still a lot of pressure for DauT. And then when Paladin comes in too, like Paladin, even just in his eco, not even on the army, could win the game. Heartt has just been swatting DauT away like he's a little pesky fly all game. And normally the annoyance adds up. But it just has not. Heartt is... This has been the most impressive game of the series for me. This has just been a horrible map. Horrible matchup for the map. Luckily, DauT knows that there will be Paladins, but... Is he going to be able to have his Halbs everywhere he needs? These Paladins are going to be going in over the left in a big way. Heartt might take the map control here and castle these golds. And DauT has an army of Arbalest going this direction. There will be skirmishers again, though, for Heartt, which DauT might have some issues with. The skirms don't have the upgrades yet, though. If DauT recognizes that, maybe it's okay. Big raids with the Paladins. Big raids with the Paladins. Huge damage. It's just not a position DauT is prepared to defend right now. And his Arbs are dying over here as well. And he lost his castle in the middle. Like, Heartt is just going to be everywhere. He's just too good. I mean, there's so much potential for Feudal Age and Castle Age damage. DauT's had more resources collected the whole game. But Heartt just keeps holding on. He will drop a castle back here. Losing out on this gold is a big problem. Honestly, I think if he waited a second, he could probably just castle closer and take the gold. Too late now. Paladins are spread out everywhere. There's Paladins over here as well that DauT can't keep up with. And there's just way too much damage being taken for DauT. He's down 3 games. And he probably already felt like there was a class difference between the two of them. And now, after losing his little forward, and Heartt holding again, I'm sure DauT is going to understand that he's been unraveled here. DauT's a great player, guys, but Heartt's execution is just insane. it completely redefines what you can do in a game, right? Heartt's in the category of Hera on Arabia, Viper on Arabia, Lyria on Arabia. I mean, he's one of the very best Arabia players there is. And when he's in form, there's not many people that can easily stand a chance against him on this map. I think eventually you just pull your opponent apart, right? Like, DauT can only have so many armies. He's over here now. He's over here. He's over here. He's looked at so many different spots. And now he's used all the side attacks to set up just pushing the middle. So he'll drop a castle here. That castle will definitely go up. And then he can take the golds, and then he can push DauT's castle there. And DauT's still hoping these skirms aren't enough for Hearttt, but... And okay, DauT's also hoping to deny this castle. But it's not going to happen. There's the proper amount of villagers. There's skirmishers around. 86 villager kills for Hearttt. And he basically was never in DauT's base until Imp. It's ridiculous. He was defending with skirms and spears against, like, super fast units. He had a hole in his wall. Like, something's got to give usually. Your Vil count's behind. Your resources behind. You don't get relics. You don't get the map. But Heartt's just too good. And so Heartt stomps DauT. Sad times for DauT, but I think the 4-0 might make this a little bit more palatable. Like, DauT might argue he didn't play his best, but when Heartt played that good, that consistently over 4 games, DauT's probably like, well, yeah, I mean, even if I played a little bit better, might not have been able to get the win here today. Heartt moves into the quarterfinals. I think his opponent is Hera, so really excited for that set. Heartt consistently struggles to play quite as confidently against Hera, right? I think no longer does he think then he's clearly the better player with meta or something. So Hera's going to be the favorite there for sure, but I think Heartt can't actually take games off Hera. I think he can give us a really good set there. And yeah, top 16 in an Arabia-only tourney for DauT. Pretty good, I would agree with Hera, actually. Who's watching on in the chat. 2-1 KD almost for Heartt. Eco, this just isn't fair, man. Like, I just don't understand it. How can you be reacting to your opponent the whole game? How can you have such a crap map with such a crap civ for an open map? That's just at least my take. Against DauT, who brought in archers and scouts and knights and was everywhere, who had 4 TCs versus 3. How can you somehow stabilize a game like this? It's just crazy. He's just so good. So, GG, congrats to him, man. I mean, hopefully Heartt feels some confidence from that. I think he's really competitive, so I think in his mind, he would be like, I should beat DauT. So he won't be impressed with his performance here because he wants more, but do not take that performance for granted, guys.